Hey friends, today I'm just going to lead you through a yoga practice devoted to relieving tension headaches. So if you're dealing with a headache right now or you feel one coming on, this is a perfect class just to take a moment to find some relief in the body and hopefully find relief for your headache. We're going to begin in a child's pose. So just take a moment to bring your hips to your heels. You can either keep the knees together or maybe you take them wide. And allow the hands to extend out in front of you and the forehead to rest on the mat. If you are having tension in the body today and you're having difficulty bringing the forehead to the mat, feel free to grab a block to bring right underneath the forehead. And just take a moment to land. You can also bend the elbows, maybe rest the forehead onto the hands. And just take a couple of deep breaths here. So closing the eyes. And really envisioning yourselves just softening the body, the shoulders, softening the hips a little closer to the heels, softening the breath, softening the muscles in the neck, and softening the muscles in the face. Can you notice with every exhale, you find just a little bit more space to let go? And just take another breath here. And wherever you are, begin to walk the hands out in front of you. Your eyes can remain closed. And we'll walk the hands over to the right side of the mat. So just finding a stretch in the side body. Maybe the left hand comes on top. Just take a full breath here. And a bigger breath out. We'll inhale, hands right back through center. And then walk it over to the other side. Again, just finding a deep stretch in the side body. Finding space, finding a little bit more ease. And then walking your hands right back through middle. And then gently walk them in as you lift yourself up. We're going to come into a seat. So you can either sit hips to heels or maybe sweep your legs around, coming into a cross-leg position. And then as you land, just take a couple of shoulder rolls. So drawing the shoulders up to the ears, send them down and away. Again, the eyes can remain closed. Just allow yourself to roll out the shoulders, relieving any tension there. And then after a few times in this direction, switch it up, go the opposite way. So taking them forward and down. Really finding that movement all through the shoulder. And then we'll land with one more time, taking the shoulders back and down. From here, gently drop your chin to your chest, finding space in the back of the neck. We'll bring the right ear over to the right shoulder. Find a stretch in the side of the neck. And then as you land here, begin to walk those right fingertips out to the side. And then we'll lift the hand up, option to bring it to rest on the top of the head, drawing that right ear a little closer to the right shoulder. You can stay here. Maybe you begin to walk the left fingertips out to the side, finding a deeper stretch for the left side of the neck. And just breathing deeply, breathing with intention. And then gently releasing the hands. We'll draw chin right back through center and then take the left ear to the left shoulder. Again, maybe those left fingertips walk out to the side. And then option to lift the hand and place it on the top of the head, drawing the left ear a little closer to the left shoulder. Again, option to walk the right fingertips out to the side. Find just a little deeper stretch for the right side of the neck. And continue to breathe deeply. And gently release here. Keeping both hands out to the side, or maybe bring them back to the lap. We'll gently take side moons or crescent moons here. So taking the head side to side, just finding that natural heaviness and rolling of the neck, of the head. And if it feels okay, you can take the head back and around, maybe for a full circle there. Just finding so much softness in the muscles of the neck. We'll find that whenever we're experiencing tension headaches, sometimes the main cause is tightness of the muscles in the neck, beginning to pull on the muscles of the back of the eye. So oftentimes when we find a little bit more softness in the neck and find ease, sometimes we can relieve some of that pressure. So just notice if you can continue to soften with every round. And just take another round in each direction. Then we'll meet back in the center. Move through a couple of rounds of seated cat and cow. So as you inhale, reach the chest forward, gaze goes to the sky. And as you exhale, round through the back, tuck your chin to your chest. Inhale, pulling the heart forward. And exhale to round. And just continue to move back and forth. Continuing to find release in the body. And we'll just take another round in each direction. Before landing back in the center and then rocking over, coming into tabletop position. So as we come into all fours, we're going to find puppy dog pose. So keeping the hips right over the knees, begin to walk the hands forward, and we're melting our chest down to the mat. So again, if the forehead is not coming to touch the mat, feel free to bring a block underneath the head, but just allowing yourself to find some kind of rest here. So grounding through the forehead, grounding through that third eye center. And we'll just take 5 slow, deep breaths here. So find space in the shoulders, find heaviness in the head. Find just a little bit more ease where you can in this moment. And when you're ready, slowly begin to lift yourself back up. Or return to your tabletop position and find a couple of rounds of cat and cow. So opening through the heart, find a little bit of space. And then round as you press the ground away, tuck your chin to chest. Then from here, we're going to move into a downward facing dog, resting the forehead on a block. So grab hold of your block or a similar structure like some books. We'll bring it to the highest level and then go ahead and tuck the toes under, lift the hips up and back. This is the first one of this practice, so feel free to find some movement. So maybe just walking your dog out, stretching the back of the legs as you show the bottom half of the body some love. Really pressing into the hands, lengthening through the spine. Find whatever movement feels good for just a couple of breaths. And now we'll begin to find stillness. So maybe walk the hands just a hand distance forward, and we're going to rest the forehead on the edge of the block. So just making sure you're supported there. You may have to play around with your spacing of your downward facing dog, like take a wider stance or a shorter stance. But just allow the head to rest on the block. Find space as you continue to root down through the hands and feet. We'll just find a little bit of pressure in this mild inversion. And just notice what you experience in this shape. Notice if you can continue to soften with the breath. You notice what you can release. We'll just take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, soften the knees to the mat. We're going to hips to heels in child's pose, so feel free to remove the block. And then sweep the hands back towards the feet, allowing the head to rest down to the mat. Just a couple of breaths here of grounding, checking in, noticing. And staying in our child's pose, we're going to grab hold of that block for our next shape. Take it on the lowest level. I always like to take my knees a little wider, as wide as the mat, to create more space. And we're going to bring that block right underneath the forehead once more, just to apply a little bit more pressure to the forehead. Allow us to relieve any tension that we may be holding onto in that space. So your hands can stay at your side. I always like to just cactus them and hold onto the block here, or you can extend them out long out in front of you, whatever feels best in the body. And we'll start by just finding some gentle rocking side to side. So oftentimes we hold on to a lot of tension in the forehead, along the brow, and it can be difficult to, relax and soften in those spaces. So sometimes just adding a block or some pressure to that area, along with a little bit of movement, gives us permission to, just let those muscles release, let go. So just notice what this feels like. And we'll just take just a couple more breaths. And in your own time, settling into stillness. So finding a moment to pause and just breathe. Notice the gentle pressure. Continue to notice where you can soften. And just take another breath here. And when you're ready, gently begin to lift yourself up. Take a moment to just sit hips back onto your heels. Maybe continue to close the eyes and just allow the body to kind of recalibrate, rebalance. Maybe just take a couple of deep breaths here. And when you're ready to transition, we'll bring the block to the medium level at the top of the mat and just turn around as we begin to recline. You're going to allow the block to land underneath the head, right at the base of the head, hitting the top of the neck to really target our levator muscles. So those are the muscles that begin to pull onto the head, pull onto the eye muscles that can cause a little bit of tension there. So just allowing the edge of the block to rest at the base of the head. And once you land there, just find a little bit of movement. So rocking the head side to side, you'll begin to notice the muscle, the ropey muscles that land there. So just find a little massage here as you rock the head side to side. Notice if you can soften through the shoulders. And then after just rocking a few times side to side, take the head all the way over to the right and then come back about a quarter of the way. So just landing onto that ropey muscle. There may be a little bit of discomfort, but as long as there's no pain or, intense sharpness, just notice if you can soften and just find a little bit of relief as you add this pressure, this myofascial release practice here. And we'll just take a couple of breaths. Continue to relax and release. And coming another quarter of the way, landing on to a new area, a new experience to release. Find a few breaths here. And coming to the middle, take a moment to just notice any differences on the right side. And then we'll go ahead and take the head all the way over to the left as far as you can go. And then again, come back about a quarter of the way. We'll land onto an area of muscle here. Find a few breaths to soften and release. And then coming another quarter of the way, land onto a new area. And again, just soften. And then coming back to middle, again, just notice, observe any differences. And we'll take just a few more breaths here with the block. So feel free to find whatever you need. So maybe that's just rocking the head side to side. Maybe that's returning to one of those tight places that you notice that need just a little bit more relief. Maybe you linger, take another breath or two. Maybe you return to that spot and find just little micro shifts and movement side to side. Just giving your body permission to let go. Our neck does so much work holding up the head, and sometimes it's nice just to let go, find ease. And then when you're ready, we'll gently remove the block, setting up for a Shavasana. So if you'd like to find any additional props like pillows or bolster underneath the legs or a blanket underneath the head, feel free to find that. I'm just going to take a flat one today, but just allow the legs to extend or find whatever setup feels most comfortable for you. And if you're experiencing any sensitivity to the light, or if it feels more comfortable to place a blanket or even a shirt or something over the eyes just to block out the excess light, feel free to find that here. And then as you land, let's just take 3 clearing breaths. So inhaling through the nose, release it out of the mouth. Find that just a few more times, inhaling and letting go. And one more time, inhaling deeply and release. Just continue to breathe in and out of the nose. Continuing to float off in that space of ease, of lightness, of relaxation, and of softness. Just taking a few more moments here. Begin to deepen the breath. Find some gentle movement like wiggling fingers and toes. Maybe finding gentle rocking of the head. Continue to relax in those spaces. And then in your time, gently making your way up to a cross-legged position. And once you arrive, inhaling, sweeping both hands high overhead, pressing the palms together and exhale them down to your heart center, sealing in this practice. Namaste.